Hello everyone, welcome to the Forgeweaver guide. So this is the last guide. We're going to be focusing primarily on Mythic, but I am going to talk about the heroic changes because I feel like a lot of guilds, including maybe even us, will not get here week 1. So this is a Mythic VOD here, and we are doing this incorrect, and I want to point that out. So I'm actually going to talk about the raid plan, but I will show footage. So with our strategy before we get into it, we were trying to kind of deal with the ad passively and dealing with range. The ad adds mechanics, so killing it ASAP is more important, and that kind of stunted our ability to kill this boss, which was totally killable. Um, we did get to the last phase though, so we can take a look at that. So the first thing I want to show here is the raid plan. And conceptually, you need to start thinking about how this is going to work and practicing how you're going to do it on heroic, because it's not super easy to wrap your head around. In my opinion, the easiest way to handle this is to maximize damage on the echo ad, and that will make sense shortly. In Mythic, you are going to have a pylon activate and a portal open. Opposite of that pylon, it can be any pylon. So you can see here, this is phase 1, 2x. So this is going to happen twice during the fight. The same concept. It's impossible to raid plan script it because the pylons can come in at any time or any order, but having the idea how to handle it is really important, especially for your tanks. So hypothetically here, this one spawns. There's going to be a portal here. In Mythic, you need to take the ads behind the portal. They're going to run through it, and then you're going to cleave the ads down with the boss. This is the first set. However, after that, there's going to be a group soak. This group soak needs to be taken by a set of players. We are going to put the group soak right next to the portal with the ads on top of them, move the boss away, deal with the ads and the portal at the same time. And then you're going to move the ad around to the opposite of the portal. So like opposite of the pillar that's spawning. So right here, this pillar is active and the ad is up. We're dealing with it. Let's say this pillar is active now. This pillar is going to spawn a portal here. So you'll move the ad over here, deal with the portal. Once the ad dies, the tank brings in the boss. So we're dealing with this ad ASAP, and that's, again, you'll see in our testing we did not do that, and we had to deal with a lot more mechanics. That is the big script of P1, is this identifying where it is and adapting. If there's no ad out, then the boss takes that cleave spot, and you're doing all the cleave there. So let's take a look. This is the intermission. We'll get here in a second. So in our VOD, this is heroic. In our VOD, you can see this pillar is active. It's shooting out these swirls, which means we know there's going to be something that spawns here. Alright, we're going to move. You can see these people are targeted with an ad. They have this arrow and animation on them. They spawn them. This guy messed up. So you need to you need to get the debuff off. If not, they're just going to run at the portal really fast. And we're doing the group soak over here, right? So we have a range group taking that. But what we should do is put the group soak here, move the boss away as soon as it happens. And then what you're seeing, you know, hypothetically, is these two things are, and also if an ad gets in, it does a lot of damage. You're going to see that here. So, actually, I'm going to, yeah, this is right. So, you're going to see here, now the ad's going to come in, and it's going to buff up the boss. So this is a good example of that. They're trying to figure out the taunt situation. But again, this ad should be here. Look how healthy this is. This should be at like 40% already. Same concept. Portal spawning here. We know it's going to spawn here. We're moving the boss over. Ooh, and we get an ad. Of course we do. Give it 1 second. We're going to move the boss over. But we really should have the ad over there in theory if it's that healthy. And same concept. Ads go across. They come in. And we're moving the group soak away. However, the group soak should really be on there. and then we'd be cleaving them at the same time. So that is the general gist of what we did wrong and how you can fix it. Now, with the intermission, we kind of like mostly YOLO'd it, which is a mistake. We use a lot of pugs for testing. So trying to assign them to the least amount of things as possible, but it should have been really easy to assign them here, so that's my bad. The general idea here, actually, I'm just going to show it in the raid plan. Now I'll show you here. So here's the intermission. Basically, the idea here is that you're going to have these pillars needing to die at the same time. And then the tanks are tanking these attendants around and making sure they're soaking the beam. Your tank should know that. And it's very classic WoW dodge stuff. Dodge this, and we're trying to kill these at the same time. So you can see here, you want to equally spread out your DPS and Mythic and try to kill them at the same time. In Heroic, we talked about just looking at which one gains energy first and going after that one, and then splitting up for the other two. That will work in Heroic, but in Mythic, they have to die at the same time, so you need that even split. So in comms, we're saying kill in 3, 2, 1. We have them stop about 15%. If they die separate, it does huge amounts of damage to the raid. So this one we did properly. And then you're going to get out of this phase. It's going to be a damage amp on the boss. So in theory, this is a really good time for Lust. And you're going to burn the boss down. Now, so that intermission is very easy. But again, it's really important for you to split up your raid perfectly. You can see here, you want to gather the adds and Lust on this damage amp right before the last phase. This is the second time you're coming out of intermission. And then the last phase, initially we thought the adds couldn't be near the boss because that's how it was kind of phrased in Dungeon Journal. So you're going to see us do some weird stuff here where we take it to the corner and we're trying to like put the adds over here. But hypothetically, we can take the boss in the middle, put the adds behind, and use CCs to hold them in. Binds, Vortex, any type of hard CC is good. So you can see here, we think that the adds can't be on the boss, so we're trying to stack them all up, and it's going to fall apart really, really fast. But as you can see here, adds go behind, and then you want to kite the boss with the adds until they die. So you kite it a little, then back, a little, then back. That's Forgeweaver on Mythic. If we hop to Heroic, very simple. So you're going to still have this group soak, and all we're really doing is having a range group soak it, but these adds don't need to run through there is no black hole or whatever, so you really, in theory, just drop the other add away, and then you'd put the adds in near the one that you want to, away from the one that's pulling them in. So you can see here, the adds are always going to be going to the active one. So like here, we're putting them under the boss, and then they're going to be running over. So this is completely fine because they get destroyed. Theoretically, if this is tuned higher, which it won't, you want to put the adds under this add, so you're taking out the echo ASAP. Like this was done perfectly. But we're grouping them all together under the boss because the echo has no health. So very easy in Heroic. Just drop adds under the boss or the add, the one that is opposite up, the opposite part of the room of the one that's active. They're gonna run to it. You CC them and you kill them. And that's literally it for Heroic. I mean, I can show you the end phase, which is similar. So you can see here we're dropping him under the boss because it looked like you could in Heroic. And we just have it in the corner because we're like trying to like think like maybe it's easier for the corner, but at the end of the day, it's probably easier in the middle of the room. You see to slow and kill these manifestations before they reach the black hole. And that's Forgeweaver. So hopefully this was helpful. Good luck in raid, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.